Hey there, Tilray traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Tuesday, February 18th. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we've got a lot of people freaking out, losing their ever-loving mind once again. Even though I've been warning about this for a while now, don't hate the messenger. I'm just relaying what the charts are saying, and I'm still very bullish on the stock long term. I mentioned this in the Pow Group private community earlier today that I'm still very bullish on the company long term, very bullish on the sector. But unfortunately, we have to call a spade, and the charts were very, very bearish. And I've been saying for many months now that we could see 87 cents USD, and we came within 2 pennies of that today. So we're just going to be looking at that, the pattern, and discussing whether or not this is the bottom. Personally, I don't think that it will be. There's just not enough sector momentum yet, and we continue to see crypto, big tech, AI steal the show. So I think we could even see 75 cents potentially here. I know I'm probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers whenever I say that, but I'm just being completely honest with you. And if you're not looking for honesty, then you might as well just unsubscribe from my channel. I really don't care. If people like my videos, subscribe to them. I really don't care. I'm not here to tell you what you need to hear, what you want to hear. I'm here to be a voice of reason and to be a realist and tell you what you need to hear. And there's a lot of fluff out there and clickbait and whatnot. Just people hungry for views and monetization, all that stuff. That's not here. You come here for the truth, the facts, and me just being 100% real with everybody. So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, you can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. So this is the pattern here that we were looking at. We had multiple daily bear flags as well. We had a target of 98 cents on the daily bear flag, and then we had another target of 94 cents. We since hit that. And then we were looking at the monthly descending triangle here. If we zoom out, reset this chart view, you want to be on logarithmic as well. I tend to find it's the best, the most accurate. So typically what these are, they're just bearish continuation patterns, right? So it's a series of lower highs and a horizontal line of support. And then if you invert it, that's a bullish continuation pattern. It's just the opposite. So you have a series of higher lows and a horizontal line of resistance. Typically those break bullish, right? But that's not what we have. We have the regular scale, which is a descending triangle. And you can see the EMA 12 here on the monthly time frame has been an absolute brick wall as well. We needed at least 2, preferably 3 candle closes above it. We didn't get that. And here we are taking that measured move of the descending triangle. Whoops, let me get my different tool out here. And you can see you just take the apex of that, you just move it out here to where we broke out. And that's exactly where we broke out. And it's saying 87 cents. So today we hit, and we're hovering at 89 cents. Volatility has been very low at the moment, so we're not seeing a whole lot of percentage swings. It's just been kind of a slow bleed down. So I am expecting a pretty big flush at some point soon. Like I said, maybe we dip down below 80 cents, somewhere around that 75 cents psychological. We don't have any all-time lows beyond this, right? This is new all-time lows, so you're just going off psychological levels from here. So to be 75 cents, 50 cents. And you're gonna see the FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt regarding the reverse split. Ultimately, they'll have a 180-day extension, right? They'll be able to get 180 days, so a 6-month warning essentially to regain compliance, and then they could get another 6 months, 180 days from their extension. So it could be a year before they're absolutely forced to do a reverse split. And we have so many catalysts. Do I think that a reverse split is possible? Yes, I think maybe I put a reverse split. I'd say it's somewhere around 50-50 right now, 50% that they do, 50% that they don't. But you have to remember that ACB did 2 reverse splits, and one was back in 2020. It did a 1 for 10, I believe. No, 1 for 12, the first one. And then the second one was a 1 for 10. And now the all-time high is sitting north of $1,500. So, and then now people love ACB. So maybe, I always joke, maybe Tilray needs to do 2 reverse splits and then it can turn bullish again. Retail will turn bullish. It's kind of silly when you think about it, but it just goes to show you people have a memory of a goldfish. But if you take a look at the chart here, very possible that we see that reverse split FUD. If they get a warning from the NASDAQ, then obviously that's going to create more FUD. And typically, if there is a reverse split, we see a little bit of weakness into that and then a recovery after. An example would be INSG. It's not an MJ stock, but everybody says, a reverse split is detrimental. Yes, they're bad. They're net bad. It's more bad than good for sure. Majority bad, right? 80% bad. There's maybe 10, 20% good that comes from it. Institutional investors are more appealed at a higher share price, usually around $5, and it decreases the amount of shares and increases the price so they can maintain their listing on a US major exchange. But look at INSG. This is a 5G play. It did a 1-for-10 reverse split in January of 2024. And then, like I said, right into that split, it saw another lower low, and then it saw a 12x. So almost 1,200% move, went from $1.62 all the way up to $20.67. So a lot of opportunity here. And just because something does a reverse split doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Case in point, ACB did one reverse split, then they did a second one, and then everybody loves it again. So like I said, I always joke around, maybe Tilray needs to do two, and then the herd, the retail investors, quote unquote dumb money, will turn bullish again. So it's kind of funny. I'm not trying to poke at anybody specifically, but you have to, again, I'm just being real with you. It's funny how everybody, like in my comments, it's like, oh, I should have bought Aurora. Aurora is now the clear leader. It's just, it doesn't make any sense, right? So why are people bullish on ACB? The same people are saying Tilray is going to do a reverse split. It's garbage. Don't own it. Well, now they're pumping ACB and they've already done two reverse splits. So it just doesn't make any sense. It's backwards for sure. But one thing I wanted to point out as well is I've been seeing tons of things on social media. It's very frustrating. I try to keep it even keel and a level head, but sometimes it's very difficult. Like this Jeff Mackey guy, legalized MJ turned out to be a stunningly horrible investment. Okay, well, why don't you go to the part of the chart where, there was tons of gains made, right? Like, let's just bring up the MSOS chart here. Okay, so if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, he just cherry picked a time frame. So why not go a little bit further before that, right? And see, okay, we went up 185%, but then yes, it dropped 94%. What does that remind you of? So if we bring up Amazon, and I know a ton of people are going to be like, oh my God, he's comparing this to Amazon. What an idiot. And it's like, okay, if you don't understand this elementary concept, then you might as well just stop watching and stop investing, because you're never going to be successful. If it happens to the most successful companies in the world selling legal products, well, then why would you expect anything different for companies selling illegal products? So Amazon, after the .com boom, selling legal products dropped 95%. Remind you of something? Okay. And then that turned out to be a stunningly horrible investment, did it not? Right? But before that crash, it went up 81x. Okay, so you're starting to understand now. And then it crashed 95%. We know the history after that, right? It was probably one of the best investments ever, next to Bitcoin and some cryptos, right? But if it happened to Amazon, Apple in 1997, right? It saw a massive pullback as well after the .com era and boom and bust. It pulled back about 82%. And then in 1997, it almost went bankrupt, if not for Microsoft giving them $150 million right here, this low here, right? It dropped 82% there as well. But in 1997, on that bottom, that's when Microsoft came in and gave them $150 million. And in 1997, $150 million is a lot of money comparative to today with the eroding of the purchasing power, right? So that was a lot more money back then than it is now. But essentially, Apple was saved by Microsoft. So like I said to Gary, I posted underneath this Jeff Mackey, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I said, I will just leave this here. And I showed the Amazon chart, boom and bust back in the .com days. Same thing, 95% down on MSOS, 95% down on Amazon. And you got a ton of people liking it. But then, Gary L comes out and says, you can't compare Tilray to Amazon, Tesla, or Apple. Sure, they struggled in the beginning days, but the comparison ends there. Okay, I appreciate that, Gary, and your thoughts and opinions, but why? You didn't say why. You just say you can't. Okay, now tell me why I can't, right? Like, it's just, you could easily compare to Tilray to a Nortel, once a high-flying MJ stock, Canadian MJ stock, or sorry, no, just regular Canadian stock. He's talking about Nortel, yeah, that ended up filing for bankruptcy. Okay, so you failed two critically important parts of this. You're not telling me why I can't compare it to them, and then you're not telling me why I should compare these to them. Like, you're not telling me why. Go further. Tell me why. Don't just say I can't or you could. Tell me why I can't and why I could. You're not saying any of that. So I said, Apple almost went bankrupt selling legal products in 1997, if not for Microsoft bailing them out with a $150 million investment. That is way worse than companies who are surviving selling illegal products. How do people not understand this elementary concept? And then you go back to the Tilray chart and the MSOS chart and you see these new all-time lows, and you have to, remind ourselves. These are products that are illegal at the federal level in the US, right? Once it becomes legal at the federal level in the US, then it's showtime. Then it's the blue chip phase. Then it's probably going to be 5 to 10 years after the US legalizes at the federal level before we really know who the blue chip clear winners are, right? The Amazons, the Apples, the Teslas of the world. Okay? Tesla almost went bankrupt. Amazon almost went bankrupt. Are we seeing a pattern here? Right? So generally, the companies that make a dent in the universe, that change the world, the best investments, right, are the ones that quote unquote almost go bankrupt, or that's what the herd, the retail investors are meant to believe. But guess what? Around 95 to 99% of retail investors lose money and are always wrong, right? So when I see this kind of sentiment on social media, it just reminds me so much of, some cryptos and some big techs in the dot-com days. It's just so reminiscent of that. And I'm not even going to bother responding to people anymore. I'm just going to send them this video and tell them to watch the end of it and not repeat myself. And if they don't want to watch it, then they don't want to learn. You can't help somebody. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink, right? So you're going to have to figure it out because it's pretty elementary. And if you're not, like I said, you might as well just give up. You might as well just tap out, not even invest at all, right? Because this is, it's literally Warren Buffett 101, right? When there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy. And he just bought a position, $1.4 billion in Constellation Brands, right? He didn't do it at all-time highs. He did it at the bottom, right? Oh, but what does he know, right? The prices are they're at all-time lows. This must be a terrible investment. This must mean that the company and the sector has no upside potential, right? Share prices do not reflect a company or an industry's value. Anyways, I feel like my IQ is dropping even talking about this for any longer than I have. So going in it there, let me know your thoughts and opinions of this in the comment section below. If you agree with me, disagree with me, what is your whole thoughts on that when people say don't compare things? I think it's quite stupid, to be honest, and just goes to show you that people have no idea what they're talking about. But yeah, let me know what you think the bottom is for Tilray as well. Like I said, I think that we could see a little bit lower than 87 cents. I think that's, we're basically there. But I think, very possible that we see sub 80 cents and a potential flush before volatility really starts to pick back up. All right, going to end it there. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next video.